So, we're in a new car in Milton Keynes. This is, what car is this?
This is a Tesla Model Y.
And we've just got into it.
I think you found out to start it.
Well, yeah, just about started. So, bigger than what we've got currently.
Model 3.
Model 3.
Feels kind of solid, comfortable. It's definitely higher up. Might be a bit too big for me. Sorry. James, do you think this is a bit too big for me?
Oh, it might be. Oh, Alex, do you think this is a bit too big for me?
So, wireless charging is different.
Yeah, it might be better than what we've got, yeah.
Kind of slidey thing. And an unslidey thing. Very similar controls to the Model 3, same kind of autopilot controls and steering wheel controls and everything. It feels solid. It's not, people talk about harsh rides, but it feels quite decent to me. So we're going to test drive around Milton Keynes on the kind of pre-assigned navigation route. So we entered work on the navigation setting, and then when we get to work we're going to press the home. That takes us back to the parking bay at Tesla Milton Keynes Into Centre. So it's a lot bigger car, as in like outside physically. So it's much taller. Looks like a kind of mini Model X, I guess, really. Acceleration is pretty good. Apparently it's less than the Model 3, but I mean, I don't use full acceleration on the Model 3 anyway. I'm a pretty conservative driver, but you know, the performance I think of this 3 is just as more than what you'd need for normal kind of driving. The good thing about the performance is if you ever need it, it's there. Not that you know, if you're a decent driver you shouldn't need it anyway, but sometimes it's fun to kind of explore what it will do. But no, it's feels nice and solid. It's also quiet. I mean, the Model 3 is quiet. It's not rattly or anything. This just feels or sounds more solid. It's also got a hatchback, which the Model 3 hasn't. It's got a boot, or a trunk as the Americans would say, which is probably better for putting big loads in. Not that we carry many big loads, but we'll have a look at that when we get out of the car. We're limited on our test drive to 20 minutes today, and the previous people doing the test drive were running late because they couldn't start the car because they changed drivers. So we're a bit limited as to what we can do time-wise. So far, so good. Software-wise, it's exactly the same as the 3. It's got the same kind of interface and screen, and the controls, you know, the door opening, windows, and everything all look very similar. So, big glass roof up there. It doesn't open; it's all part of the structure of the vehicle, but. Allows the sun in or the light in. It doesn't get very hot. I think it's got anti-reflective treatment on the outside of the glass, so you don't get the heat coming in. But yeah, no, it feels like a nice car. It feels like a nice car. I think the Model 3 looks a bit more sleek, a bit more racy, I guess, but this is definitely more of what I describe as a large family car. So, you know, if you're into EVs and you are able to afford a Tesla and you've got a family, then I'd probably suggest that this is more your bag than the Model 3 is. There's lots and lots of Model 3s around. But then again, saying that, the Y's only been out about a month, 6 weeks in the UK, and I've seen lots of those as well. So I think it's going to be a very popular vehicle. When I first got my Model 3, there used to be a slightly geeky thing of waving at other Model 3s, and it used to happen all the time when you first got the car, but as they become more common and they're now company cars, it just doesn't happen anymore, which is not a bad thing, not a good thing, but it just shows how popular they are. Tesla apparently are delivering hundreds of Model 3s and Ys a week, which wouldn't surprise me. So they're just so popular. And of course, with the ban coming on of new diesel and petrol cars in 2030, electric cars are just going to get more popular. So, right, so if we navigate to home, that will then head us back to the Tesla showroom. So, but no, overall it feels like a nice car. The seats are nice and supportive. Feel comfortable. I think the leather, they're not real leather, it's artificial leather. But they feel fine, and they're okay in my Model 3, which is currently feeling lonely in the car park in Milton Keynes, waiting for me to come back. A lot of people, you hear comments of traditional non-Tesla drivers talking about there's no instrument cluster in the front of the steering wheel. Well, that's not the way Tesla is. Tesla's, I think it's definitely a bit of a geeky car. If you're into technology, then the screen in the middle just works for you, and you just glance at the speed. You don't need to look ahead. I think it would put people who weren't into computers or technology or iPads or anything like that, because it's not a traditional car. And lots of traditional cars that are now becoming EVs still have all the buttons and the knobs and the switches and stuff to make all the controls work, and that's done deliberately to I think make the traditional car buyer who are not into EVs buy their cars, like the Volkswagens. I sat in a ID3, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and I was disappointed that it looked like a traditional car in front, inside. That's probably because I've been exposed to Teslas, which aren't traditional cars, and so I think the reason is they want people to feel at home in electric cars, because changing from ICE, diesel, petrol to an EV is a big change for everybody. You've got to have chargers where they're going to charge, range anxiety, all this kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is that that's a big enough change for us consumers to do. So if they make the car inside feel the same as they have already, that's one less step for them to change from internal combustion to EV. So I understand the reason, but if you want to kind of go a bit kind of Star Trek and go a bit ahead, then Tesla's more the way. There's no other cars that I know of EV wise that are like Tesla's as regards operation. Minimal controls. You've got 2 stalks, 2 buttons, and your basically screen, and that's it. All other cars, the other EVs that are on the market, are traditional with vents and buttons and knobs and switches, which you don't really need. But there you are. That's the way it goes. Right, so we're heading back now. We've got to work, which was a roundabout, and now we're going. Sorry, we've got to. Now we're going back to home, which is the Milton Keynes Tesla Centre. And I know Tesla know exactly where we are, because they've been. They can track the car, and they know, because they've got so many slots of people testing them. They know where we are, so they'll see where we are on their little screen, and they know we're heading back. So headroom's fine. I mean, I'm short, so I'm not going to talk hit the roof, but there's tons of headroom here. Like, feels like about nearly a foot in old money. Don't know what that is in centimetres. Everything's electronic. Adjusting the steering wheel is electronic. Adjusting the heating, electronic. Adjusting the vents, for the cooling. Electronic, you just go to the screen and make adjustments there. I think it's probably a bit daunting for people who are not used to technology, but if you are, it's fine. If you want another car with all the digital controls, then that's absolutely fine, and you can just change the button or adjust the vent angle and stuff, but that just doesn't happen on these. So there we go. So we're on autopilot at the moment, so just hold the stalk down and it goes from 40 to 60, so the car's steering itself and it's keeping to the speed limit and accelerating and decelerating as it moves along. So you need to keep your hand on the wheel all the time, just a light touch, so that if anything does go wrong, you can just make sure you're in control of the vehicle, not that you ever aren't as such. So we're starting to decelerate because the car in front is decelerating, speed's going down, and we're going to turn left, so we'll indicate left. At the moment, the autopilot can't do roundabouts because they don't have roundabouts in America, so they've got kind of traffic lights and stuff which it works well at. But here, for several years, the autopilot's been in beta with Tesla. They keep promising it, it's never arrived yet. It's arrived in America to limited numbers, but just using the normal autopilot over here, which is adaptive cruise control and following the roads, it works fine. But it can't do roundabouts, unfortunately. Not sure that day will ever come, but some live in hope. So it's time. So it's 11, and we were given 20 minutes to drive, and we were supposed to be back by about 10 past, as we left at 10 to. So we're kind of, our ETA is looking good for returning on time. But, Tesla's all very hands off. It's all very virtual. You buy your car online. You don't actually go in the showroom signing the paperwork. You do it all online, which is not traditional. Again, it's another step for people that won't be used to that kind of thing, and it is a bit strange, but it does work. Sometimes it's actually more convenient than all the faffing around, but then other people miss the human interaction of seeing somebody and talking about stuff, and I can understand that. But the world moves on. I'm sure there'll still be options for people to go and see people and discuss things and sort things out with other cars, but I don't think that'll ever happen with Tesla as such. It's always going to be remote. I'm running in the wrong lanes. Let's get over. Notice they haven't on here. They haven't got the on the Model 3 in this corner here. When you indicate left or right, it shoves a little mirror, a little screen comes up, and you can look left and see if you're clear, as well as the ring mirrors and the normal mirror. But they haven't got this on the Y, so maybe this is not the latest software. I'd have thought they'd been pretty similar, but maybe they're not. So Milton Keynes is very busy today, lots of cars around, sun's out, very nice, very pleasant, chilly wind, but otherwise good. The good thing about the autopilot is that if you set it to the speed limit, then there's no way you're going to break the speed limit accidentally. In traditional cars, it's easy, totally unintentionally, to break the speed limit. With if you use the autopilot and set it to 30 or whatever the speed limit is, then your home's free. It's kind of, you're safe, which is good. You should always find the time you're not paying attention is the time you're speeding, and somebody will shoot out with a speed gun. So the car's driving itself at the moment. It's kind of stopping for traffic lights, stopping for the car in front, moving forward, moving back as the car in front speeds up and slows down. So the thing is, it makes driving electric vehicles, I've found, so easy, so less hassle, so less work. It's just kind of, you just go and do it. So it's good. Right, we're coming to our final set of lights here. Car slowing down by itself, and we're going to be turning right, and we're going going to go left into the garage and park the car. And I think we'll be back just right on time, which is nice. We've obviously timed their pre-assigned test drive just the right amount of time for you to do your 20-minute drive. I don't think 20 minutes is really long enough if you're really going to get to know a car, because it's a big commitment when you're spending this kind of money. But you can always book another test drive, a second test drive another time if you're not sure. But I think most people who drive them are probably pretty impressed from the first one. I knew that before I got my Model 3, I drove it twice to make sure that I wasn't making a mistake. So, but no, overall, it's been a good drive. Right, so we're just about to go into the Midsummer Place car park. Floor 2 or level 2, which is actually the first floor from here, but make sure nobody's going to crash into us. Into the car park. Up one level. Not sure the turning circle is as good as the 3, or might be the same. I think the 3's turning circle might be a bit smaller. Don't know, a bit difficult to tell. So here we are, level 1. Folks having trouble getting his ticket. He's got his ticket, he's in. I don't know if we have to get a ticket or it's going to let us in. How it works. Yeah, that's fine. It's automatically let us in. Very nice clean car park. It's all very well looked after. Unlike some I've been in, unfortunately. Very smooth, very quiet. I don't know if it's got this noise. Some cars now have to have, by law, have to have this, electric cars have to have this noise below 30 miles an hour to make people aware of the noise of the vehicle, because otherwise electric cars are silent, and you can be walking in front of one and you won't hear it. So as a safety feature, they put this low level noise in lots of electric cars to warn pedestrians that you're around. So we are just reversing a slot. So we've got our reversing cameras as well as our mirrors. Just gotta make sure I don't drive into my own car, which wouldn't be very good, would it? Let's get in there. Hopefully the next person won't drive into that. Push the button to put the handbrake on. Bob's your auntie. There we go. So we didn't have a look outside, did we? Let's kind of quickly have a look inside the boot, or the bonnet, the trunk, the front. Let's open that. Let's open that. Let's have a look. Well, there we go. So that's the hatchback. That's miles more compared to them. And it's electric as well, which isn't on the Model 3 current one has got it, but I haven't got it on my one because it's 20 months old, so lots of room in there. Here's a wash. Around the front. They've actually called us a bonnet on this one, so instead of a frunk or a front trunk or a fruit, which is a front boot, deeper than the one on the Model 3. But there we go. A short and quick review of the Tesla Model Y. Catch you another time.